this class? Okay. All right.
3, 2, 1. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Jeff Lee, was co-hosting with me today because absence of Dan. Today is January 3rd, 2025. Happy New Year's. This is a continuous lecture series. Today is lecture 4 of tangible structure of soul. Now I go into turn off my video so that for the continuous, it's probably better. Let me see. There you go. Oh, you know what? I did. Okay, so I'm not sure how many people were able to review the material, the lecture for today. Anyone? I know it was just a New Year's.
Yeah, I went through all what, 4 and 4?
Yes. Oh, excellent. So it was how was it?
It's good. I like how it's been building
Mm-hmm.
and integrating and taking from each of the previous
Right.
classes and the symbols and then the it's just getting the kind of repetition in where it'll introduce the symbol, you bring it in, you send it down, you bring it up, send it out to your aura, bring it back in, explode it out. But I really like the description, though I couldn't repeat what they said until I hear it a few more times.
Right. Right. No, no, I get it. I'm so glad you don't mind that. Um Anybody else so far? Your impression and in comments? And
Well, I kind of missed it because
yeah. Oh yes, that's right. Yeah, I
I
understand.
had, yeah, I had other commitments,
Sure.
but I'm ready to pick up.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a good thing. So I've been getting some questions, and it was very good question that's why I want to go over that first before we move on. So hold on just a second. Oops, I need to know how to share this. Okay, let me share the sound, optimize. Hopefully this is gonna do it. Let's see. They say I have to move this out of here. Okay, let me see here.
All right.
Is it? Can
Yeah,
everybody?
yeah, I can see it. I can see it. I
Okay.
can see it.
Good, good. So I've been getting a question of the about the techniques and then also about the definition. So I guess some of you were a little bit concerned about the symbol and I didn't necessarily had a great experience. So every time you have that kind of sensation or feeling, follow your internal guidance. Okay, this is not something you must do. It is an option and a reference point. And a lot to do with here is a more theoretical exploration. Now, if you could get the technique in and resonate well with you, wow, that's great. Go for it. It's this acceleration of your spiritual journey. I understand like less than 1% of a human on earth at this point be able to continue on the spiritual journey, meaning the activation of a necessary DNA strands to be able to experience a vertical ascension. So it's not too bad, 1 out of 100, but it's not that large amount of people, isn't it? So yeah, if you are able to do it and then feel right and gaining some tangible experience, I encourage you to do so. Otherwise, no, just keep this in your pocket, right? And the second question was, what is Rishi? And is Rishi God? So it is all depend on your definition of God. I'm not sure, have you ever thought of what is God to you, right? So it's difficult question. It's a good question, but very difficult question because I don't know what is your definition of God. So my answer is always depend on yes or no. But in this teaching, I like to go over what is Rishi here, so that we're gonna be on the same page, right? And then I added, I hope this is not overwhelming. I hope this is helpful for you. The overview of what are we looking at from a top down. Okay. So it always more on the top, right? And I'm not convinced this is the absolute top, but it's pretty higher than what we are told. It's called step creation. I try to make it bigger for you. Whatever the reason, it's not getting bigger. But if I click it, oh no. Oh, you know what? We could bring up the source. So why don't we do that? So that doesn't look good. Maybe it came back here. I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry, my technical things, but you don't have to read everything, but it's on your member page. And you could go to the reference, but it's the same diagram. Basically, this person went through and wrote it down in a diagram in a linear fashion. So thank you so much. So what we are going through is right here in the bottom parts of it. And in Rishi, I believe it's right here. Here. Okay, so relative position, right? This is a relative position. And then whatever on the started on the source, all that is the point of creation, creative power. There's a lot of different name. Maybe Native Indian called greater minds could be defined here, but also it's known as Unasai source, all that it is. So if you hear those words, you typically refer to the top of the top of the top in order. As you could see, there's a multiple different layers here, right? The words and explanation. And then whatever you are entering so-called matter, right? These are all antimatter. There's no matter to it. Well, as soon as you see those light or ray, the frequency, right? Those are happening right around here, wherever it said time metrics. So as I said, there's a light, there's a time before the time, there's a light before the light, there's a sound. So they all kind of work together in a trinity fashion. Whenever the ray appear, the consciousness attached to this ray form, this is called rishi. So it's not something like the Buddha looks like a Buddha person coming down on you, say, I am your rishi, but it's more of the ray form, wave and frequency from this embodiment. It's gonna receive it as a feeling and sensation, rather. Now, as you progress your spiritual journey, as you expand your consciousness, you're going to develop those additional sensory systems that could translate the package of light into more tangible, practical, understandable form. So that is, at this point, going to be stored in your subconscious mind. So it's not going away. You have all the information. It's a matter of how and when you can access to that. So that's what you're linking to Rishi right here. And the rest of your practice is focusing on you bring it from incarnate identity. Incarnate is you here, to going up, merging with a soul identity and going up and then up, right? So linking Rishi and you are going up this way to expand your consciousness. So that was the exercise. So I don't know how to say it. Rishi, I mean, pretty high up there, and could be like a god, because beyond that, how are we going to be differentiating that from here to there? I don't know. But the additional order beyond, right? Quite amazing. And once you have a time, it's not a bad idea to read through the words and then, you know what? I know this word. I feel I resonate well with this sound, right? So those are the key. And your relation, your association, your membership. So it's not all the lost codes to look at this. Oh my God, it's too complicated. But at least you know now what we are talking about, a station of identity in different incarnation here on Earth and other timelines, because that's who you are. You can't just have a one of this and manifest. To manifest this a little bit, you have to start somewhere from here. You're coming down, right? So you are definitely never alone. You can exist independently. You are connected to all of this, the family, relative, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to say, that group, collective, right? So I just wanted to, I guess, clarify that question. Let's see, do I have something else? The another things that being it says someone said just less comfortable with this symbol, and then like I emphasize, don't use it if you're uncomfortable, but make sure you have a circle around it. Okay, and then every time I believe this technique, they ask you to bring this towards dimensional symbol. Again, you could put the circle around this, the same color. And then this to protect the 5D geomancy code, you bring this inside of this, right? So it's a protected fully. So that is important visualization technique. If it's difficult, you can't just visualize a pale blue dot inside of a bright white star. That is perfectly fine. Whatever the reason, I have a problem with visualizing those two symbols. It kind of my mind manifests far more points than this. And later on in this teaching, I realized that's totally fine. So go with the flow, and whatever your mind manifests, at first that is your symbol then, right? So if you have a hard time, don't worry about it. But if you have a technical question, well, I don't know, I'm turning the right way. Yeah, bring it on, because it's much better explanation than what this tape is. So sometimes it's confusing. All right. Let's see, is there anything else? Oh, I just want to mention, I added more things for you. So hopefully you could view it at your leisure. Let's see what else I added. Let me go through this. There's a chakra point here. You see the physical chakra in the rainbow colors, right? And then the morphogenetic chakra, which is a non-physical chakra, below and then above your body. And then if you notice, there's a S. Do you notice that S1 to S15 in a various point of this vertical line? And this is a crystal seal. So as you can see, there's a lot of concentration right here around your belly. There's a reason for it, right? But there's a lot of seal here. The place adds to this dimension. And this is why a lot of the exercise bring the geomantic code here on the belly, and you are how do you say this, modulating, waking up this crystal seal. So you're gonna have a temporal unlocking mechanism happening when you do that. Activation, initiation, however you call it. Your Makaba field will start to spin. And that's how you feel kind of buzzing sensation, or you temporarily be able to have experience of the higher frequency, higher dimensional mindset. Just wanted to add at that point, so you know when you're doing a technique, it's not just just randomly saying a particular symbol here and there. There's a reason why they're doing it. Now, I won't be too worried about the order. There are the reason behind why, you bring up and the bottom, but don't worry if you mess up. It's just the intention is far more important at this point. Okay. Also, I added this Makaba spin. I think it's a really good way to visualize yourself in your field. Okay, TT, I don't know what you want. Not now. What else? I put it here. I added more from the different source energetic synthesis. They does more linear fashion. I think it's a good way to explain people in this way, right? So you could kind of put that as an additional reference point. It's a different source, but talking about the similar things, same things. Okay. Now this, okay. So next is a Merkaba. I just want to stop here. Is there any comments or question up to this point?
Conversation starting with what?
Oh, up to this point, do you have any question or comments that, about the materials?
Not really, but can you pull up what was it, the universal time matrix slide from below?
This one?
Yeah, right there. Right. Well, actually, no, the next one, the one next to it. The next, yes, this one.
Okay.
Okay, density fields.
I don't know. It's small, isn't it?
Yeah, is there? Okay, yeah.
It's a little better. So basically, yeah. So basically, it's a more linear way. This is a 3D Earth, dimension 1 through 3. And next, the 5D Earth, dimension 4 through 6. And then this is a 7D Earth, dimension 7 to 9. And you go even up, this is going to be density 4, right? This is where 10, 11, 12. And it doesn't really have so much of a matter much, very fluid up there. Once you go beyond that, you basically just a waveform of the fun of consciousness. So then as you can see, there's even beyond it.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
yeah. So this is basically same thing as this little more complicated picture
Yeah.
up there, right?
Mhm.
Where did I post it? Maybe. So that's more kind of way to more graphical way to say about the stair step creation, which maybe more on the top. The Rishi time, yeah, here. They're basically saying the same thing. This is more. They wanted to explain a little bit more because some teaching of this go very in depth, and the Brunel founder rays here, right here, correspond to here. So there is a correspondence, but the previous one had a much far more detail. Maybe unnecessary at this point. But it just out there for your reference point. So this is very difficult, isn't it? When somebody say, "Oh, is that a God?" So you kind of think about what is a God to you, and it is something you need to define and find your comfortable zone, and It is okay. It could be fluid things. So one day you think this, and next day is that. That's totally fine. Eventually, you will find your, sweet spot. Okay. Any question? It's a lot of material. It's really dense. So if you're like in a little bit confusing state, that's completely fine. But it looks like the more you interact, the more you ask, looks like you feel like you could understand a little bit more. So yeah. Also, other people's question help sometimes, right? To form your own question. So I think it's important to have this dialogue. Anyone else before we move to the next part?
I was wondering when you start to experience the other densities, do you disappear from the 3D world and
Oh,
everybody else's timelines, or do you still exist in the 3D world?
yeah. I think I got half of your question. Like, you're saying at which point you could actually go, go to different dimension at will. And what happened to everybody else? Is that yes, no, maybe? Can you
Does anybody else want to contribute their thoughts?
I just want to follow up with the David's question. I just want to know what he said.
Well, I guess my question is that not everybody will ascend. So what,
Ah,
do you just disappear from everybody else's timeline if you do ascend? Or do you still exist in their timeline?
that's a very good question. I'm sure there's a certain people will disappear. But it's not like the mass exodus, mass kind of a movement that we actually literally experience probably. It's happening throughout the eons, but we probably not going to business, probably many of us. So I'm sure it happening somewhere always. But in terms of like I say, you and me, right? It's interesting you said because how do you explain this? Our DNA is connected to many of our morphogenetic field, right? Our personal morphogenetic field are also connected to the earth. So it already exists, the higher earth and middle earth, and then a really lower earth. So all timeline will coexist. And the easiest way to go to the next, the octave would be when you expire here. And when you rebirth will be higher timeline, so next place. That would be the easiest transition. Now, sometime if you do practice a lot of ascension things, you start experiencing that life now. So you're experiencing both realities now, right? So that could happen. Now, true meaning of bodily ascension, you're actually going through the portal, that's something I haven't experienced. And this is not the class for that. Actually, originally this class was for that. But I'm not teaching that though. I'm not the right person to teach that kind of things. What happened is I learned over the year, which I do believe, I have a spirit guide, very special spirit guide, not from my line, but a spirit guide that taught me, and I that's what happened to me. It's not so much that I want to ascend and then I'm gonna work on ascension. Rather, they will come. Just in my case, pull me to somewhere else. But that happened many times. So you could experience a different reality in that way. I do believe that is true because just only I could talk from my own experience only. That seemed to be more likely scenario. So yes, there's some monks, some people, they do that, right? It's actually connected, different kind of realms, right? Now, and this is another tricky part, David. Do you know which realm that is? And that is a correct realm. So that's another question. Right now, we only talk about higher seem to be better, but not necessarily. So that's something I'm going to talk about. You probably already know, maybe, but we're going to talk about to the next phase of learning. Right now, we're going to learn about terminology and how you're going to incorporate in your reality. So this will stick to you and actually useful and be able to take this to your advantage for the wellness, more health, more vitality. But that is a goal. Yeah, it's kind of funny, isn't it? Like all of a sudden kind of you disappear. But you probably kind of know that some people experience it like through the near death experience, or all of a sudden like you disappear, like your friends, let's say. You haven't seen certain group of people for years, and you all of a sudden meet. Have you ever thought about that's kind of strange, or you think it's just that happens? So a lot of time, what happens when your frequency shift, a lot of the people who are not to your frequency level, they become invisible, almost never existed, right? And then at a certain point of your lifetime, you meet those people again, or may not. It's a lot to do with the Earth frequency at that time, or some shift in a personal field, or the contractual agreement you are supposed to meet again. So it is interesting, isn't it? Like, don't take it as granted. Look around you, David. Your environment changed, and the people you interact with probably changed because you changed, and your personal morphogenetic field and the morphogenetic field of the Earth or the surrounding is also different. So that is what happened. That's another reason to kind of see and monitor your process. Who are your friends now? Who you see most? Where are you now? And where you feel more comfortable with? What are you doing in your spare time? Did your job change, or do you hate job? Or do you, there's a lot of different things. Your hobby changed? Or your boyfriend or girlfriend or your partner? How are they? That's how you know your frequency band and what are you attracting or what are you getting rid of. So that's what happened first. And before you know it, it's almost as if you're in a different place, right? So I'm sorry, it's a question being wrong, but you will notice you are going many different places without take any step. And at one point you realize you never left. I don't know how to explain this, but hopefully you'll get it. I hope I answer some of the question. Now, the David question actually lead to the next class. Makaba. Okay. So if you want to go somewhere else without money, ID, passport, this is what people used to do, right? You form the Makaba and then pop in and out. So that is main teaching of this freedom teaching. You become completely free from it because you are. And tell you about the mechanic, how to do it. So, it's a little maybe dense and boring, but please listen to cassette because I'm gonna go relatively quickly for this Merkaba because it's just it's kind of simple in a sense. What is Merkaba? Merkaba is the vehicle of a manifest. This is how we have an animated experience and look really like this, counter rotating, right? Triangle, and it's around everything, around us and around the thing, around every being, and even the particles that you just could only see from specialized equipment or how it is. Otherwise, it can be here and I mean manifested. So we have a multiple Merkaba. Our atom has a Merkaba, our whole body has a Merkaba, and our chakra has Merkaba. So we are Merkaba inside a Merkaba, Merkaba, Merkaba. So why you can't go out, whatever other dimension or heaven, because you have an activated bigger Merkaba, right? You see the tiny Merkaba and this big Merkaba and even bigger Merkaba, right? So depending on how much you could engage and activate through your DNA activation, that's how the parameter of how your movement define. Okay, so this is a phase explaining phase, small to bigger, nada. That is you are not a body, Huba body, which is density 1. That's all the Merkaba we have activated. Otherwise, you can be here like this. And the next one, the soul integration you did, right, in a previous cassette, CD2. That's you are merging yourself to one bigger Merkabic field. This is how you experience the next mind, as of who you are, the station in a higher dimension. So go on and on. Quatra, Mafunta, Rafunta, that is an even bigger and bigger, even bigger Merkabic field, all the way up to Rishi, right? So this is when you entering God's mind of God, oneness, absolute love field. It's getting very close to that. So let's see, somebody could read this sentence section here. If you have a computer open, if you be able to see the letters.
Starting where?
Starting Merkaba is.
A Merkaba is a set of counter-rotating interdimensional electromagnetic fields that forms through the axis of three-dimensional or harmonic universe flash line sequences. We have a small dimensional Merkabas that are within the body in each dimensional level. And then we have harmonic Merkabas depicted as two spiraling cones that surround the body. Harmonic Merkabas are related to harmonic universes, hues, also called densities, DN1 to DN5. Running your Merkaba in reverse literally drains your life force from your body. Most contemporary humans have yet to experience soul integration, and their bioenergetic field and consciousness remain phase-locked within the Nada Hova body and three-dimensional incarnate identity, a condition that is called Nethra phase Merkaba. Building the phases of the Merkaba vehicle allows humanity the opportunity to leave the earthly time cycles of birth, death, and rebirth to enter the eternal time cycles of less matter density and higher evolution.
Thank you. Well read. So this is one way, and it's really fun to experience yourself. You actually literally spin. You open your arm and you spin, and it's really, really fun. So if you electric Merkaba spiral is when you expand your arm out and standing up, you go toward your left, right? Your left shoulder or left arm and start to going behind. So that's clockwise rotation, which is electrical spiral, which you go into emit the energy outward, which is become white hole vortex. So you're making a vortex of white. And opposite, the counter clockwise rotation, which is a left, right? Which is causing a reverse, not reverse, counter rotating a spiral, and it's called black hole. So white hole doesn't exist without the black hole and vice versa. And that's how our body is made of. This coming together, do you see that coming together? And a interlock. And when they interlock and a form right here called form constant, that is where the void space. This is our chakra. Okay, so one is a white and one is black. So that's why one emitting, one is receiving, and that is the so-called Makaba field. So it is kind of neat, and you could feel it. You could just feel it with your body. Do that on the right spin and left side spin, how you feel. And the best way to feel, at least to me, is a tree pose. Have you ever done a tree pose in a yoga? You know, one leg up, and you put the hands up or side or prayer position. Whatever your feet is up. Let's say you place the left leg up. That is a clockwise rotation. And if it's the left leg is the counterclockwise, it's almost like a fin, you're catching a wind. And you have a preference. I bet you do both and see which one you are more comfortable with, and you could tell what is your dominant spin, a bodily spin that is. Yeah, try that. It's really interesting. Let's see. Yeah, so I go into, this is all I kind of like to say on a CD4. There's a couple of terminology shows up. Hold on, let me see. I'm going to make sure I review that. Extra for Fuba body, crystal seals, and a Makaba phase. So Fuba body we cover. It's really the bulbous, structure of our body is made of. We are like a kind of like, egg inside of egg, right? We are like kind of spheric field or oval field around us, and then that is kind of our personal morphogenic field. It's interacting these other dimensional morphogenic field. It's almost like a interweaving or interlocking, and in frequency on a flashing sequence. That's how we interact with reality, how we feel and then see, and our body and mind experience and our psyche experience the reality field. It is the funniest things is that we are moving, right? We are living, but we never really left anywhere. That's kind of weird concept. We are all here, So we feel the movement, we feel we go in different places, but our actual position of standing wave, it never left anywhere. But we have those experience of animated movement. And it's kind of magic. But anyway, it is good and bad because they're telling us we are locked up here in this Huba body, right? Harmonic universe, that we are supposed to be able to experience all this and beyond. This is the other universal time matrix beyond this. So now we know, right? So maybe you may want to experience something else. So that is about the technique for going through how you activate those hierarchical stuck up the Merkaba, and it tells you the breath, visualization and a tone, right? To be able to kind of activate and reach that potential. So if you're interested in, you have a cassette tape. So there you go. I just like to end the Merkaba talk here. And I like to introduce lecture 5, which is very, very important. And I want to make sure that, I like to make sure that you understand the theoretical points of it. And then also, if you are interested in, you may want to do the techniques. Okay. So before I go into the next, I just want to stop here for a little bit. Anybody has a question on a Merkaba?
Are those two Merkabas meeting base to base?
Going beyond it. Overlapping.
Okay, so visualize them overlapping, rotating clockwise and counterclockwise.
Yes. Which form the Star of David.
Okay, so the two of them form it. Okay.
Yes.
And in one of the lesson 4
Mm-hmm.
things, it talked about 12 breaths and then 13 breaths.
Yes.
It said 13th, you better be ready or you could overwhelm your body. Could you speak
Oh,
to that at all? Or
yeah, that. Yes. So, I think this is why, the one of the reasons that I don't want to cover too much of it, and then I don't believe they really went through as a group either. So what happening is that we supposedly we do have a lot of miasm, which is the following lecture I'm going to explain a little bit more, as a way known as a karmic debt. So that is how we carry the disease, manifest through the different lifetime, and a lot of things that we have in this body and also other body carry this miasm or miasm, where the distortion in a Merkaba field. So the distortion is maybe okay, but it's a blockage. So if we have it, even though we just practice it, accelerate the consciousness, which is good, but the desired outcome won't happen, because just think of it, if the energy flow is going through in something blocking, if you're pumping out more and more, you may feel pressure or even the pain, right? Or discomfort. Most people stop there, but you could push it through and maybe blow up some chakra system. I'm kidding, but it is such a powerful energetic field that some people may not have a bad trip, let's say. So I hear often people do those magical drugs, and for the spiritual enlightenment, some people don't have a good experience, and a lot of time because of that blockage or miasm in a system. That includes thoughts and belief system. So I think that's the main thing. The other way to also say it, that even if we have those blockages, that one's belief system is so powerful and so positive, will override those things. And then with your avatar wishes on your side, it will happen, So it could go both ways. But if you are in the middle, kind of believe it, but not really, I won't go and just don't do it. Just take it as a reference point, and when you're ready, do it. So that is the that's the only thing I could say. I haven't heard something very negative using this system personally. But I also respect what they say here. Yes, maybe.
Yes, yeah, just with the because they talk about the, the different Hova bodies. We have what, five
Yes.
Hova bodies. 12 is the highest human incarnation
Mm-hmm.
dimension.
But it is up to 15, yeah.
Yeah, but and because they put it in there too, that those are beyond the body
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
that and just wondering the connection. And is 12 the Rishi body?
The 12 is Avatar, I thought.
12 is Avatar.
Mm-hmm. 12 is Avatar. So the Mahalik seal, that's Avatar self. You claim for Avatar self. So Rishi that you connected is beyond the Avatar, one above. This is why you are just feeling and sensation. Avatar could have a form you can see, yeah, through your psyche.
Is the Rishi associated with a certain dimension?
13, 14, 15.
Oh, okay, so that fifth Hova.
Yes.
Okay.
The fifth, interesting. Every of the sealed, so the each Hoover body associated with those sealed disc, right? It's all horizontal if you notice. It's a seal that goes through the horizontally. The very last seal go vertical seal. So you're gonna be gone. There's no form at that point. That's the last activation that contain all the seals, all the Fuba body. So like you are going up and up and getting bigger and bigger as you get larger and larger and greater, expansion of consciousness. You get closer to the all that it is, the source. And when you get really close, you're going to the point. There's no dimension, no time. There's no time there. No time, no light, no sound. It's almost like you disappear. You know. But I don't know. That would happen. It's like really, really cool. If somebody like going like this, activating Magabar and most of these are going the next, next harmonic universe, 4, 5, 6. You're still gonna disappear from here though. So I don't know how you could prove it.
I thank you.
Yeah. The one interesting thing that I also experienced, that when you go to the 4, 5, 6, you rather you feel the angle like you're going 90 degrees. So that I could tell you. And then I think it's scientists know, right? Yeah, doing a UFO disappearance, they usually disappear in a 90 degree. So it's kind of consistent. But I don't know, 13, 14, 15, it probably has combust, probably. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I shouldn't. I think some people could really feel it. I do know the people that I went to at some point I went to that a sensation. I don't know why I didn't continue. Once you keep doing that, even just a 12D seal exercise, you start to feel the Merkaba field, the planetary Merkaba field, the sensation, the whole thing beyond you start moving. You feel it. That's really awesome feeling. And they're the people who are skilled in this technique. That's a norm for them. They just kind of saying how much range you gain, over the year. This is the people that we practicing years. I mean, we're practicing for years too. But anyway, you start to feel that magnitude of awesome energy field more and more you practice. I know, Dave, you're very interested in the Makiko field. That's very cool.
Yeah, I like how it all connects in that with the different Huva bodies, and then the blue pentagram inside the
The Makaba,
silver platinum Merkaba
Mhm.
and spinning, then the lightning bolts come in, and you're reaching through all your chakras. So
Yeah,
it's like you're reinforcing all the chakras with energy from different Hova bodies.
yeah, exactly. It is incredible science behind it. It's actually quite amazing teaching. It's a shame that it's not accessible more in a better way. Well, you are now, so yeah, let's take advantage of it. I want to, if I may, I'm gonna move on. Hopefully, as we move on, maybe easier. And then the next one is very relevant to me because I went through the, cancer and things. It's all kind of related to the miasm and karma. So CD5 are very important. I want you to listen for sure at least once, if it's not twice. But they talk about the following thought forms and the miasm and then karma. I posted up and bottom in bottom definition alphabetical order. So if you just skim through that, I think it's amazingly good. But some of the technical, if you remember before particle, particle, particum, it may be more resonate. Well, I know. But if you're not right now, I could say micro, ultra micro particles are made of everything. And we are made of that. And then we're also have multiple Huba bodies and greater identity that we know here as an individual physical body, right? And they talk about even go beyond about thought. And a lot of time we don't pay attention what's in our mind, but we have a lot of thoughts throughout the day. And then oftentimes we are not managing our thoughts properly. Like if you think of the desk, each thought we have, we are opening the file. And a lot of times we leave the file open and leave to the next thought, next file. Perhaps the next file may be closed, maybe, but could be open. So think of the chaos of our mind desk filled with thoughts from that floating around without our conscious knowledge. And that actually has its own energy signature, meaning could be intention, will, desire. They have a shape, they have a directionality, and they have an energy within. More we have a similar thought or same thought during a day and day after day, the thought form becoming stronger and become the impression almost like a tattoo that being seen by others, and then also has its own almost like the personality, almost the being. Now, if the thought is harmonic energy resonate well with so-called law of one or harmony of love, that would be very good things. But maybe some of the thoughts are not harmonious or left alone being not completely closed circuit, meaning that It's not the complete thought process, which is itself is a hazard. So they talk about that, how responsible are we in terms of our own thoughts. And then I'm not sure they talk about there are the other thoughts from floating around. And sometimes we own that too, or we think that is our thoughts. Okay. So that is become more, it could be a dark thoughts. And once you start to owning it, place a label. Yeah, that's another thing. Start placing a label to our own thought. That's become problem starts because we are basically owning it, right? It's almost like a pet. We see, well, not pet, like cute cats or doggy. We see, and for the adoption, and wow, I shouldn't, but then you name it, and that's it. You bring them back home. That's kind of similar thing. It's not. I'm not saying adopting is bad, but it's just a lot of things happening. Unconsciously, unconscious level, and it's. This is a time to be more aware of your own thoughts, and then differentiating, is this my own organic thoughts over something else? Like, it is resonating well with me or not? So it's all kind of come from here. Then some of them become miasm, and a lot of miasm, according to this teaching, is inherited from someone else, nothing to do with you, or something you are pouring in lifetime after lifetime. Now, just like astrology, if you know astrology, some of the miasm or friction point are more fixed, meaning repetitive, and meaning that you experience in a life, multiple lifetimes. Those are very difficult to dissolve because it has a very powerful signature. They don't want to move out of your field. Like a tattoo, it's hard to remove a tattoo, isn't it? But if it's something written on in magic ink, maybe you could just get rid of it, just knowing where it is. So that is a different type of miasm, but a lot of time they're saying that building up the miasm, that it's really difficult to get rid of. Right? So now going to the karma, right? What is a karma? Where they come from? Why we have so much karma? Right? And we are kind of Hoover vacuum cleaner, right? Supposedly, like we are kind of what is a karmic debt consolidator. Some people say we are built for that, but I don't know who signed up for that. Maybe we did, but we're constantly cleaning up somebody else's mess. But are we doing effectively? And are we consciously know that's what's happening? Now, believe this concept or not is up to you. But it is kind of nice to know the thoughts actually creating something, morphogenetic templates. That's kind of alarming things. So I want you to listen to the tape and see that resonate well with you or not, and maybe point out those areas that resonate well. And you will also list out the things that doesn't resonate me at all, because some people are not. And it's nice to have a different diverse opinion. So I want you to kind of listen to that and go ahead do that technique. That's wonderful. I think it's very, very important tape. So this one I really want you to listen. And if it's not, I mean, some portion will repeat in a class, but it's very powerful if you can listen and kind of come together and have some good discussion or comments or question. That will really, really increase our collective seal, the frequency. Any questions so far or any comments? Well, I'm going to stop the recording now. Are you still going to discuss? Let's stop the recording here.